Which question?
Where does that additional money go now?
What additional money?
The money that was going into the renewal and replacement fund from the $46 a quarter.
I don't know if there's any extra money available. Until the audit is completed, I can't tell you whether there's additional money available.
Well, you said you were going to save us money, and the MUA was able to take a portion of that money and put it in a renewal and replacement fund, and you said you were going to save us money, so you should be able to put even more money into what would have been the renewal and replacement fund that now is no longer going to exist. So where's that money going to go?
You could call it the renewal and the replacement money, but I call it surplus.
Well, they called it renewal and replacement fund. Your own resolution, the bond.
Yeah, but I disagree. It's surplus.
Well, the bond council, who we pay, called it renewal and replacement.
I mean, when you have a $5.1 million budget and you're sitting on over $6 million in surplus, I would call that a problem, Denise.
Well, that's your opinion. But what you don't answer regarding your opinion is how long it took them to accumulate that $6 million. Did it accumulate since 1963 or did it accumulate overnight? If it accumulated overnight, I would tend to agree with you.
You know when it accumulated from?
I would say probably accumulated over a period of time, not overnight.
Sounds like a guess.
So unless you know, how could you evaluate if it was a problem or not?
Because I knew what it was when I saw it. And when I saw $6 million, this township had a budget last year of, I think it was about $75 million. If we were sitting on $80 million or $85 million of surplus, you'd call it a problem, I'm sure you would.
Well, again, you don't know how long it took to accumulate that $6 million. So unless you know that, you can't really evaluate if it's problematic or not.
I think it was egregious. It was ridiculous that they would accumulate that kind of surplus. And I think the local finance board noticed that.
Okay, but it wasn't a surplus. Part of it, $2.8 million, according to your own bond counsel, was a renewal and replacement fund, which was set aside to fix things without having to borrow money, which causes more taxes for the residents because the bond people get paid a commission, do they not? Yes? So that's an expense that you save if you have money set aside where you don't need to borrow. You also have to pay interest rates, which you don't have to pay if you have money set aside that you don't have to borrow. Correct? And debt is problematic in itself, is it not?
Why did the local finance board allow us to take that surplus and use it?
You're asking me questions instead of answering mine.
You were sitting on that call.
I was not. You keep insisting I attended that local finance board. I did not. I did not attend that meeting.
I thought you were.
I wasn't.
If I'm mistaken, I apologize.
Yes, you are mistaken. You are very mistaken.
There were people that sit in that audience that were.
What difference would it make if I was? What difference does that make?
I'm sure it was communicated.
If anybody should know, I think it should be you, not the residents.
I do, and I treated it as surplus.
Okay, but every question we've asked you about this, we don't get an answer on.
I'm telling you,
Just like, how long did it take to accumulate the surplus? You don't know.
why would I even care?
Because the MUA was in existence since 1963. If they accumulated, what, $10,000 a
Should
year?
be rewarded for that? Are they the Bank of Gloucester Township?
No, I think it was intelligent to have a renewal and replacement
you
fund
think they
because you
should
don't have to pay commissions, you don't have to pay interest, and you have the money set aside to fix emergencies. Now we don't. Not only do we not have the money set aside to fix emergencies, we don't even have a plan to maintain our sewer to prevent the emergencies that you want to borrow for.
Sure we do. We can issue debt.
No, I'm talking about a plan to maintain our sewer to prevent emergencies. We don't have one. That doesn't seem very smart either.
When you say we don't have a plan to address emergencies, what are you talking about?
No, we don't have a plan to maintain our sewer to prevent emergencies.
But you just told me it was operating perfectly.
No, I said the MUA ran a fine operation. The MUA had a plan to maintain our sewer.
Mr.
What
Cardis,
changed?
What changed? What do you mean, what changed?
What changed between the authority being there and utility being there now?
What changed between the authority being there? They had a plan to maintain our sewer, you do not. They had a surplus, you want to take the surplus and spend it.
Ms. Coyne, does anyone else would like to speak on this matter that has not spoken yet? Ms. Coyne, you can continue.
Do you have a copy of this plan they had?
Excuse me?
Do you have a copy of this plan that they had that you're talking about?
Which plan?
The plan that the authority had?
Which plan?
I don't know, you just
To
said they
maintain
had
the
a plan.
sewer? To maintain the sewer?
Did they have a plan?
You
just
told
said-
me they were planning on spending $19 million. Didn't
That's a-
you say
that's a
that?
plan?
And I asked you December 9th, do you have a plan? Yes. Then Remington and Vernick, the own engineer that you paid when we dissolved the MUA, said that there was urgent things that needed to be done. Do you have a plan to do that? I asked. Your response was no. You do not. So, and then you told the Inquirer that you're going to be reactive instead of proactive. That doesn't seem very smart either.
Mr. Cardis, is it possible that we can grab the projects that were addressed when they wanted to go out for $19 million?
I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, why don't we find that and we'll see the things that they were identified. In the past, Ms. Coyne, they had bonded things through the MUA. They've had a schedule and they've paid it. One of the things that when it was dissolved, we took a look at their connection fees, which were woefully low. Correct, Mr. Cardis? Our connection fees?
Yes.
Yes.
They were raised, I think, $600 per connection.
So we raised that this past year to address that. Do you have any other questions, further questions?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak on this matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.